Welcome back to another episode of Tru Radio on WLVS Radio, coming to you live from downtown DC. We got a little different look tonight. We got the man 151 on the end. How you doing tonight, good sir?
What's going on? You know, always ready to give it to you straight with no chaser. With a BCP3.
It's doing okay. I'm not used to you not seeing you without a bottle or a drink. You know, this is going to be a different type of night for us, I guess.
You know, every now and then I gotta be sober.
That is not one of my rules. I did not agree with that statement whatsoever. Reality is sobering enough for everybody. Sometimes you got to take a drink or a smoke or something like that, you know. And also we have Miss Erica Taylor in the building tonight. Miss Sheeta P is doing an event somewhere else we'll talk about later on. But right now we got Miss Erica Taylor in the house. How are you doing tonight, Miss Lady?
Doing great. Thank you for having me. Hold it down for Miss Sheeta P.
Hey, glad to finally get you on. We've been talking for a while, trying to collaborate, get her, you know, personality and some of her expertise out here on the air, because she does some impressive things.
Yes.
That I'm going to go ahead and let her, you know, get a little shine on real quick before we get into the show tonight.
Yeah, I do a little bit of choreography. I've done some background dancing for a lot of artists in the DMV. Done a lot of traveling, Mardi Gras parades, festivals, a lot of videos. I do it all, everything. So here I am.
That's what it's all about. And then your manager / father has a t-shirt business.
We got Albert Taylor in the background scene, who actually is my manager. He actually has a clothing line out right now. It's a sports line right now, so y'all got to check him out on Instagram, ABT Sports, Albert Taylor. And y'all can also check me out too. I love being Ambu.
Yeah, we're actually in the talks of doing some collaborations with, you know, working some things with Sports on the Hill podcast and Tru Radio Network possibly. So you know how we bridge the gap and always intermingle and have our networking team. You know how we do 151. You know, that's how our network rolls, man. That's why we roll like we do.
Definitely. She might want to link up with WeFam, because they do the Black Business Expo in May. Okay. And it's nothing but black, you know, vendors and clothes and stuff.
Yeah, that'll work, definitely.
You see the connections that's
just
made?
Definitely.
You know
that's why I'm here right
the
now.
connections that's just made, that's just a beautiful thing. That's why I love doing what we do, 151. You know,
always,
it's a beautiful thing. But it's a lot going on right now. I figured we'd start with sports to get that out the way, because there's so much news going on in entertainment, current events, politics, that we got to delve into it. So I'm going to just get into the sports wrap-up real quick, brought to you by Sports OTHP, brought to you every Monday night from 7 to 9 on Tru Radio Network. Shameless plug, but you know we got to do it. We've been speaking about the Capitals in great detail because it's getting close to that playoff time. It's about 16 games left in the season. The Caps are in second place. Currently, they're playing right now. From the last update I got from DC People's Champ, they were up 5-0 in the second. So looks like they're pretty much handling the Philadelphia Flyers, and look like they'll be back in first place solely by themselves. Well, New York Islanders are actually technically in first place. They have the same amount of points, but they have played one less game. So by percentage points, they're still number one. But the Capitals, you know, had a 3-0 week last week where they defeated the Islanders 3-1 to take the lead in the Metropolitan. So it's about to come down and get real, you know, about that real playoff time. And the Caps looking to go back-to-back in the Stanley Cup. So I'm thinking it's going to be a real interesting turn of events with some of the moves that was made at the trade deadline. A couple of the, you know, most of the Caps fans and experts still have doubts about this team, but I think this team is ready to repeat. They know what to do. They know how to do it, and they're about to win and take. I think they're going to go back-to-back, and we'll be down there for that championship parade for 2 years in a row. I know you don't follow much hockey, 151, but I know you like the fights. I like
fights, man.
I know.
As long as somebody getting beat the fuck up, I mean, I'm just like, yo, let's go for it, man.
No doubt, and that's my man Tom Wilson, number 43. He can score and he can drop the gloves, man. He has fear in the league. They so scared of that man that they trying to get him suspended for any and everything, but he's on the Capital squad and he helped make that team the best.
Sounds like my kind of player.
Exactly. You need to check him out, man.
Hey, no.
He's more than a goon. He's more than a goon, DC People's Champ. He's a goon that can score. So that takes it to a whole nother level. Most of the goons just come on the ice to start something. They can't contribute offensively, but he can go out there, contribute offensively, and when they try to take liberties with Ovi or Nikki or, they try to get a little handsy, Tom let them know, hey, that's not going down while I'm out here. That's why I love that dude, because he handles his business. He's walked the line. He hasn't been suspended this year. He hasn't had any questionable penalties. So I'm thinking that this team is going to be ready to go. A lot of folks question the contract that he got. He got a big contract for a so-called goon, but it's paying dividends because that man has, 19 goals. He just scored the first goal of the night. He's about to have his career high, after getting that big contract. Normally when you see a big contract, that the player gets satisfied or they don't live up to the stellar performance that got them that contract, and then they fall off. But, I'm not going to dwell too much on it. And we have a black GOP and Sheeta P sighting in the building.
Hey.
You know how it is. Tru Radio just rolls in and out. We got things going on, but we still make time to do the important things.
Sure indeed.
And
what up?
I'm going to get into the less than stellar Wizards. You can come on in and say hi. She has a previous engagement that she's going to be fashionably late for. But we might as well let Sheeta P come on in and say hey.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
What up?
Sheeta, that's Miss Erica. Yeah,
Hi.
I can exchange
I just want to
information
say
a little later.
hi. I got the 93.9 events on.
Yeah, so she's about to get out of
You
here.
are gorgeous.
Thank
hey.
you. Looking fly for your event.
Glad
Yes.
you had a chance to stop through. Go handle your
Sheeta
business.
P in the building like a superhero.
Go get that guest
Yes.
host appearance stuff going on,
Hold it
girl.
down.
Because that's what we do. Tru Radio Network, making moves. The movement has begun, people. You're going to see us. And they getting turned up already. You know how it is.
Big Red was like.
But to get back to the sports segment, get into the Wizards. They're actually playing right now. The last update I got from DC People's Champ is they were up by how many, Ken?
They were up by 3 at the end of the third. They're now down by 1 late in the fourth.
Oh, they're down 1 late in the fourth. That's typical Wizards basketball. Fourth quarter crunch time. They normally fold like a wet paper bag because they have no veteran leadership or presence on their team.
Is it hard being a Wizards fan because it's like I get disappointed every year?
I think so. I think it is hard.
I mean,
I'm not a Wizards fan, though, but I think it is hard.
I mean, I'm a Knicks fan. I've been disappointed since the 90s.
Boy,
And I'm a Celtics fan.
See,
So
I left the Wizards back in like 2005, 6 when they traded Jerry Stackhouse for Richard Hamilton. I was done. I threw in my basketball credentials. I was like, I followed KG. I'm a KG fan. He went to Boston. I was a Boston fan for that year. He got his ring. He retired a couple years after that. Since that, I can't even get jiggy with basketball, man. It's not the same,
yeah, I'm
man.
a football girl.
It's not the same.
I feel
But these Wizards, I'm not going to call them what Ken calls them, the bum-ass Wizards. I'm not going to go there, even though that's the way they play. In the last 10 games, they are 4-6. They're currently 26 and 37th, 11th in the East, with still a chance to make the playoffs. That tells you how bad the East is. That they still have a shot to make the playoffs. I don't know why they would, but it is what it is. And to wrap it up on the sports segment, right around the corner, NFL free agency is starting on the 11th. That's when the players can officially sign. There have been some rumblings that I've been, paying attention to. Apparently, Nick Foles of the Eagles, who bought out his contract because he still had contract on with the Eagles. Apparently, he'll be signing with Jacksonville, and Jacksonville will be cutting ties with Blake Bortles.
So disappointed.
I mean, Blake.
I'm an Eagles fan. So disappointed.
No, I mean, you can't have Carson Wentz and Nick Foles.
So
Yes, you can.
Right, exactly.
Did
That's
they
the
win
whole
the Super Bowl
purpose.
with that?
But Foles is going to demand at least $20 million a year. You're already paying Carson Wentz $20 million a year. Foles isn't going to take the hometown discount 2 years in a row. So he got to get his money too, because he's had a rocky career, but he's had 2 stellar performances in the Super Bowl. So he's going to ride that until he can get a payday, because this is probably his first and last huge contract he's going to get.
Okay.
So he has to has to roll the dice. Also, everyone is talking about the Antonio Brown, trade demands of getting out of Pittsburgh. I've actually saw a word that he will be traded by Friday, from what I've been hearing around the league, and they say Oakland, Tennessee, and surprisingly, the Redskins are in the running for him, which I have no idea how they will be able to afford him with Alex Smith already on the books and having to get a new quarterback this year and having to draft players, I don't know how they're going to be able to afford him unless they package the trade picks, the picks for the draft that they have, to trade them to Pittsburgh, which is a possibility, but we know how the Redskins are with free agency. I'm not a big fan of it. If they get him, he's a great athlete. He's electric. He's dynamic. He can change the game. But we know the Redskins' track record with signing a big-name free agent. It hasn't really turned out that well.
They come to Washington and they just sit on the toilet. Like, they just...
I cannot disagree with that statement.
I mean, it's like, you like, oh, yeah, we got so-and-so, and they be some shit.
Yeah. I mean, recently it's been better because we've been building through the draft more, and they haven't made a big free agent splash, but they've gotten key players to fill key roles, which has worked in their favor. That's why with the Antonio Brown, he's a superstar that's expected to change the game, to make the team automatically a Super Bowl contender, even though the Redskins aren't. You're going to hear people say that, and then that's going to put added pressure on the team, and I think that that's what leads to the downfall when you bring in a big-name free agent to try to change the culture or make them a Super Bowl team, and it just fails because, for one, you're putting too much pressure on that one player. He has to adapt to the system, and he has to learn his teammates. You can't just do that in off-season or preseason. You have to do that in real live game action, and to do that in one season to be a Super Bowl contender and go to the Super Bowl, you're setting yourself up for failure because it's 9 times out of 10 not going to happen.
Pretty much.
That's just the way I see it. But also, we have a couple of key free agents that are Landon Collins, safety out of Giants. They let him walk away. He's rated one of the top safeties in the league. They franchised him last year. They decided they weren't going to franchise him again. Baltimore Ravens just cut Eric Weddle. I'm not really a big fan of his. I feel like he's a scheme safety that if he fits the right scheme, if you have good pressure up front and can get pressure on the quarterback, yeah, he can come up with those turnovers, but when he has the cover for an extended period of time, when the defense doesn't get pressure, he's a liability. So I hope the Redskins stay away from him. C.J. Mosley is also a free agent. Baltimore didn't re-sign him, and there's also been rumors of the Redskins possibly being in trade talks with Arizona for Josh Rosen, who they drafted last year or the year before last. I think it was last year. And they're talking about they only want a third-round pick because they're talking about trying to get Kyler Murray, the Heisman Trophy winner out of Indiana, that could have played baseball, said he was going to play baseball, but changed his mind, decided to play football because he already had a contract for majors if he wanted to go. But he decided to go ahead and go through the combine. And I don't follow college, but I watched some of his tape. And the guy is dynamic. I mean, he was a Heisman Trophy winning player. He was a quarterback. He can run the ball. He can throw the ball. He's kind of like a Barry Sanders that can throw because he's an elusive guy. And I would love to see the Redskins maybe draft, trade up to get him. But no. I was about to say we know how the Redskins' history is with trading up for mobile quarterbacks. I'm not even gonna open that can of worms again because that I don't even want to go there. But also we got Nats season right around the corner. They're already playing in preseason, spring training. We all have heard the news about Bryce signing with Philly. We all heard the mistake he made at the press conference saying he wanted to bring a title to D.C. instead of saying to Philly when he was up there. And there are also some rumblings of the Anaheim Angels actually putting in tampering charges because at his press conference he was kind of lobbying for Mike Trout, who is a free agent next year, to come to Philly to try to win a World Series, which couldn't be considered tampering because he's still in a contract for a year, and Anaheim decided to make a formal grievance, so now there's an investigation into that because he made a statement at a press conference. That's how petty it gets.
That's how petty they get?
That's how petty, because, I mean, Mike Trout is a once-in-a-generation type player who came out a year or two before Bryce, who MVP, 5-tool player, top of the game. Then you put Bryce on that team, and then you already have Philly, who played better than expected last year. They were expected to finish bottom of the division, and they were the third team in the division, played better than expected. So their youth is maturing better and learning to play better. So you add those superstars, you might have an instant, World Series contender. And Philly has done it before, so it might be something, it might be nothing, but you know how it is. But that's the world of sports right now. Just to wrap up, you can always check us out, Sports on the Hill podcast, every Monday night, 7 to 9, and every other Thursday, 9 to 10:30, with our boxing, MMA, baseball, football, whatever we might cover. We cover everything, so it doesn't make a difference. It's DC sports without a politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. Now, on that note, let's go ahead and transition into.
Trapped in the Closet Part 17.
Well, I was gonna do a little. Well, I was.
Oh my gosh.
We might as well go there since you didn't have that eloquent delivery. You might as well.
National Basketball Association.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll let you lead that on, my files. I know you have a very unique perspective on this situation.
so the good news is the crying Jordan could now be retired.
I said the same thing this morning.
because
my
now we
brother.
have the crying R. Kelly face,
Bruh.
which is like the worst face ever. Shout out to R. Kelly for getting out of jail, going to court, and then going back to jail today.
Exactly.
Child support is a mother, bro. Child support is no joke.
I mean,
$200,000. They said.
Yeah. Obviously, something was trapped in the closet, and apparently it wasn't his bank account.
It was his checkbook.
Judge wasn't playing. It's just crazy. I mean, I saw. The thing about it is the media coverage of the interview. The interview, how they covered it, they only covered the crazy parts.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask, did you watch it? I didn't.
Right.
I just saw the crazy part.
They did. They only covered the crazy parts, and one, I think he's guilty personally.
I mean, we all know.
I mean,
he's
I've never met anybody besides R. Kelly to be like, yo, this nigga's innocent.
Right, exactly.
But he was like, they covered the crazy parts, which makes him really look bad. And I don't know who his like PR person is. Like, it was clearly a bad idea. Like, and the way you make people look stupid is you just sit there and look calm while they do crazy ass shit.
Exactly.
And Gayle King, shout out to Oprah and her making black men look bad this week. Shout out to them.
Are we talking Oprah?
Yeah, we're talking. Oh, well, we're about to segue into that a little. I was going to get Erica's quick perspective on, since you are the choreographer that's worked with some of these artists. What is your stance? As a young, impressionable young lady that might get that chance at fame, would you allowed yourself to get peed on by R. Kelly?
I just first of all, no.
First and foremost, I'm sorry. I just got here, right? and I don't know. Like we're walking right into when they get peed on. I don't know what just happened.
Yeah.
It's Tru Radio on WLVS Radio.
What's
Anything
going on
is
in
possible.
The world.
Okay.
I personally, I definitely do feel some type of way about the whole entire situation. My first thing about it is the parents. When it comes to the kids and these young minors, like, y'all sit here and y'all it's a artist. It's an artist. You think, okay, he's going to get your daughter out there, or you think they're going to go far in life because they got this big person who's out there doing their thing, and then you're just like, okay. First of all, the first mistake was them going to meet this guy, going to meet him, and then you got some parents on the interview where they're sitting there and they're like, why are you even going to meet this grown man? Like, okay, yeah, fine, but then at the end of the day, you're letting them still communicate with this guy. You're still letting this happen. And then it just comes down to it when the whole management perspective, the whole management thing, when it comes down to the whole music business, you can't just do anything. You can't just go and follow behind anybody at all. And I don't know. It's a lot. I feel a lot when it comes down to that. It's a lot. My emotions are.
Well, it's crazy because I'm from the era we put niggas in the trash can.
Man,
like you want to talk to my sister, we put you in the trash can. I don't care if you was a star. I don't care if you was a quarterback. Like, Carol, you probably don't put a couple of people in the trash.
It's just all the people that's involved.
Sometimes you gotta drop a nigga off.
Yeah.
But I mean, now people are chasing fame, chasing glory, and looking for the quick buck. And it comes from this perspective of, that folks don't want to work for nothing no more. They don't want to put in the hard work. Because it's easy to sell your soul. Exactly.
Well, I just want to point out, and by the way, guys, Black Chip P, just jumping in a little bit late, making sure Sheeta P, who's not here tonight, she has another event, and right here at WLVS Radio, and in Tru Radio Live doing our thing. I just want to point out that 151 said put someone in the trash can, which usually means you assault them and put them in the trash can.
Yes.
But Carol or CP3 said sometimes you got to drop people off, which might mean you got to pull up to
interpretations of getting dropped
you got to pull up and just say, hey, my man's, can you help me drop some trash off?
Yeah, you know? Duct tape and latex gloves go a long way.
For the black community, I would say that Oprah Winfrey has sold Mike Jackson out.
Yeah, agreed.
She has absolutely sold out Michael Jackson, and for her to stand up there and collect whatever she's collecting, she's already a gajillionaire, whatever the number is. You know what I'm saying? For her to stand up there and, lead this attack against Michael Jackson, who a man who can't defend himself. Right, that's like me going outside and getting hit by a garbage truck and CP3, because it would be CP3.
Oh, damn.
But
well, the alcohol will make you drunk to drive, so.
Yeah.
So that's like me walking outside and getting hit by a garbage truck and someone, CP3, walking up and just kicking me over and over. Like, I can't defend myself. And for like 10 years later, though.
Yeah.
I dislike the idea of I dislike the idea of someone being attacked and they're already dead. They've been dead for like 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if the man's dead, leave him alone. And I don't understand, I don't know if it's the Me Too movement. I don't know if it's the feminist movement. I don't know if it's the, HBO saw Surviving R. Kelly and was like, oh, we could do that with Michael Jackson. I don't know.
I think it's that one.
It's a money grab.
Yeah.
It's a money grab.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, everyone's so anti Michael Jackson. And the man did his thing in court, he wasn't guilty, you know what I'm saying? We know Mike and R. Kelly, whatever, right? Okay, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, now you're guilty in the court of public opinion, and I'm seeing reports of people taking his music down.
Yeah.
I mean, all across several radio stations. Yeah. I almost, if I would have got here on time, because I was late, black man stuff, right? And
typical.
Yeah, it happens. Okay. It happens. And so all of a sudden, where we're moving his music from different sites and different radio stations and all this stuff. So, and I'm like, when did that happen? Why is it now that, like, for example, like, let's say 151, like, if I have a cat, right, and 151 just like has inappropriate sexual relations with my cat, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Why
And
the cat though?
Yeah, it just has to. It has to be a cat, right?
Oh my God, bestiality.
Oh Lord.
But he beats the charge, and if he dies, and then 10 years later, can someone come up and do a surviving 151 series? Like, it's like you can't even be dead, and just live, I guess, if that makes sense.
Let your legacy
Let
live.
me throw one thing out there real quick, and I got to come from the controversial angle. Stanley Kubrick, Woody Allen. Both of them been accused of the same thing. Woody Allen had a 16, 17-year-old.
It was a stepdaughter, I think, or something like that, or adopted daughter.
But his movies are still being played. Stanley Kubrick movies are still being played.
Roman, whatever his name is, Polanski.
From the 70s, he got,
He ran.
He flew. He knew he got caught with a minor. He didn't wait for the indictment. He didn't wait for the trial. That, like I said, I'm gone. Y'all ain't gonna, and he ain't been back since. But his movies still get played over here.
And CP3, do you guys, because again, I'm black man late, did you guys cover the owner of the Patriots? Did you guys get to...
That was going to be the segue, but 151 had such a great break into the R. Kelly. I was going to segue into the R. Kelly with that, but he had such a great way to break into it. We just had to break into it. But we can go into the rub and tug with Robert Kraft also, because it's getting real funky with that, man. Because I've been following that case also. So they trying to link him with the sex trafficking and all of that. And before you go, I know you got a key piece. Actually, Heidi Fleiss, the old madam, she actually wrote an op-ed piece in the New York Times saying that prostitution should be legalized and it will help stop the sex trafficking and They can regulate it, tax it, just like they do everything else, and that would solve most of these problems we're having now. What do you say about that, Black GOP?
I think it goes. It's almost like, let's say if I was famous, right, and I'm trying to make it there, you know,
No doubt.
and it's almost like me saying, well, if we, you know, decriminalize crack, then no one should go to jail for selling crack. You know what I'm saying? And like when you hear Heidi Fleiss, you know what I'm saying, and her writing an op-ed piece, that just shows where our media is at right now. That just shows exactly what it is. And, you know, so it's hard. And for some people, and a lot of people, it makes sense. It really makes sense. You're like, well, yo, maybe prostitution should be legal. You know, and it's like, I don't know.
It's the oldest profession.
I don't know if I want to go grab a slice of pizza and come out and see a prostitute. I don't think.
We not.
You know, I don't think. You know, I don't think that's my thing.
I mean, just like Amsterdam, they had a red light district where the prostitutes are. They have a card. You check the card. They've been to the hospital to get checked out. If they don't have it stamped, you don't deal with them. It's regulated through the government. They get taxed. They get, you know, they check the workers. There's none of the sex trafficking, none of the abuse, none of the pimps, and it's a free enterprise.
Well, okay. Let's take that exact example and look at it like this. Let's go back to my crack example, right? So if, let's say we legalize selling crack, right? And so it's like, oh, you can buy legal crack over here. It goes into the exact game of legal marijuana. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And but people are the people are going to underball and charge less prices, and you're still going to get it on the street corner.
Yeah, it's still going to be a black market for it, of course. But the quality isn't going to be as good as what's being sold in the open market. Well, I mean, now we're talking about crack, but speaking of the prostitution, that's also, the product will be fresher because it has
don't incriminate yourself on it.
I've been trying to get to Amsterdam for a while, dog.
You've been a little bit too comfortable with this subject matter.
I've been thinking about this for a while, dog.
So again, let's reverse that as well. And I want to get back to our guest, by the way. I'd love her opinion on it, but let's reverse it again. You know, okay, so boom, right? People have been in prison for marijuana for whatever, like a million years, right? Okay, but at the end of the day, right, now that we've put it in the hands of pharmaceutical companies, and I don't know about any of you guys, right, and our lovely guest over here, I don't know about y'all, right, but I've hit that medical. I'm not gonna lie. Mm-hmm. You know, and that medical is everything. It is life. It is life. I swear to you.
Pass, my nigga.
A very close relative to I may have slid out of, I don't know, you know, and a very close relative of mine moved from, you know, she was on all this pain medication, whatever, and she went and started doing the medical thing. The medical marijuana. I know I'm sitting here like medical majestic, you know, with the medical marijuana thing, and I was like, oh my God, you know. But we put the greatest, you know, drug ever in the hands of pharmaceutical companies, and so now we have to have that debate. And that's what I'm saying about the whole prostitution thing. And, you know, this goes back to whatever, you know, like once we put, you know, these things in control of government, we have to make sure that it's for everybody. So now I have to go pay, like if I wanted it, right? And I don't need it, right? Because I got niggas to deliver. But like if I wanted it, I would have to, you know, go out, boom, talk with my doctor, pay that fee or bill or whatever you want to call it, and then also, you know, get it delivered, and then carry my card that I have to pay for. You know what I'm saying?
So much to it. It's so much to it.
I mean,
why can't you just grow it in your house or something, or just let it and nobody come in there and they just?
Why can't you just grow it in your house?
Why does it have to be a whole government thing?
I mean,
why does it always have to be under the government?
Well, because it's a capitalist government. Everyone thinks democracy run this country, but it's capitalism. If they find a way they can make a profit off of it, they're going to do it. They've been had the war on drugs for so long. that they know it doesn't pay off and it's not going to work. So now they say if you can't beat them, join them. Now the same things that our brothers and sisters are incarcerated for, you got these rich white young entrepreneurs making millions off of it now that it's legal.
I mean,
Shout out
you got big.
I was going to say, shout out to Ronald Reagan.
Reaganomics in effect.
Oh boy, Nancy Reagan too.
I
Her
mean,
in that red dress.
you got big drug dealers out here who are getting charged for kingpin charges, who are making money off of it, but you rather have the government go ahead and supply it. Like,
Well,
So,
you got to
right.
think about it. The war on drugs wasn't never about stopping the drugs. It was about controlling the flow of the drugs.
Where it was ending up
True.
at.
Yeah.
Once
so,
it hit the suburbs,
you know,
it
it was
became a
never
problem.
about stopping it. It was like, hey, we want to control it and we can make money here, here, and here. You know, I lived in the 80s, so I know.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
you know, my brother was a hustler, so I know, like, locked up and everything.
I mean, to
So
segue on that, you got Rayful Edmonds about to get ready to possibly get out.
Yeah.
That's a name from the past. A lot of folks
That
might
was-
not
that
know.
was-
Rayful, well, a lot of folks that we know that name, but a lot of younger generation probably doesn't know who Rayful Edmonds is. He actually had a townhouse in my neighborhood that basically he did a lot of stuff out of. He would come just put money, line $100 bills on the ground for people to just come take because that's just what he did.
Yeah. I mean, people even, I was living in the VA, everybody knew about Rayfus. It was like, yo, we want to be like Rayful Edmonds. We want to be like Rayfus. Like, a lot of kids started hustling just off of his reputation.
But now he's snitching, so he ain't gonna last too long. Once he get out, his safest place was the inside for real. I don't know why he want to get out because there's gonna be some folks gonna be looking for him.
Let me tell you, no one's going to be looking for Rayful Evans. In my opinion, just because someone like that carries that kind of stature, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm about to whatever Rayful Evans. Like he's got squad on squad on squad on deck. You know what I'm saying? Is it right? I don't know. You know, I've never been in that game, but right. But but I've never been in that game, so I don't think that he has anything to worry about. But 6ix9ine does.
Oh yeah.
Well, Rayful doing the same thing that 6ix9ine doing. He
What?
was talking. A lot of folks that went down because of Rayful.
I would tell you this. The only thing I disagree with what you're saying, Black Chip, he does have something to worry about because about 3, maybe 4 years ago, out in Delray, a young lady who testified against somebody pulled up at the light, and in broad daylight, a car pulled up and shot the shit out of her and pulled off. They never caught the people, no nothing. You just never know who's watching you and how it affects the bigger people. Because they can get you regardless.
No doubt.
Because I learned this from when we got robbed. My brother, who was locked up at the time, by the time he came home, like a year or two later, he knew the guy that robbed me. He knew where he stayed at. The police never found the nigga.
But he knew.
Police never found a nigga.
He was on the inside.
But
that
he was on the
found
inside.
out.
He was like, "Yeah, our system is a lot more, is a lot better than the police." Like he knew by the time he came home, he knew where he stayed. He had followed the dude a couple of times. Like he was like, "Yo, if you would have been the person that he shot that night," he said, "Oh, this dude wouldn't have lived." He's like, "I would have went right back in." He's like, because he knew him. He said this dude had no idea who I was, and I looked at him like every day.
Wow.
And that's from the jail system. So he can be found, like, and that shit's even better than the internet, the jail system.
Yeah, that's how I lost a couple of my folks. They cleaned their life up. They were in the life. Back in the day, cleaned their life up, living a good life, out for their birthday, just had a kid, going out to the strip club. All 3 dead because somebody that he screwed over years ago saw him and decided that 10 years later it was time for him to retaliate.
At the strip club, though, that's a sacred ground.
Bruh,
I was about to point that out.
they don't
But-
have any morals anymore, man.
But let's shift to our lovely guest. And I'm sorry, I just got here and I never got a chance to meet you and know your
How
name.
you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm Black GOP.
I'm Erica Taylor. You can call me Ambi, short for ambitious.
Cool. So what exactly? Unless we covered this, if we covered it for the show, then we need to talk about it. But what's your angle? What are you up to?
Well, I'm actually a choreographer. I don't know if you were here when we talked about this, but I do background choreography for a lot of DMV artists In the DMV area, I do a lot of festivals, parades, commercials, music videos, whatever it is you call it, whatever you name it. I do it all. As far as it comes to the dance industry, I'm actually about to have some dance classes coming up soon. In the DMV area, I got a couple of projects coming up where I'm doing some video shoots and stuff like that. I'm getting ready to collab back with some more dance choreographers and with some artists that I've been dancing with. I've danced for JZL, if you guys haven't heard of her, JZL the Empress. She's on Instagram. Mika, she's a pop artist. So I've done a lot. I'm just trying to get with the bigger names. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would ask this as my second question. Excuse my cough. I'm getting ready to cough. Hold on. I would ask this though. What is it like trying to maintain and own and operate in a career in the DMV? Is it tough? And also, where are you from?
I'm actually from the Southern Maryland part of PG County, so Clinton, Maryland, Brandywine area. And to answer your
Great
question,
steak and cheese. Let me tell you real fast. I was there, right? I wasn't there, but I didn't live there, but I was hanging out there, and I found like a breakfast steak and cheese, and it was like a steak and cheese with like grilled onions and like fried eggs and bacon, and I could feel my life taking away out there from that carry out. I just want to point that out. But I'm sorry, please continue.
Yes, that they are good. But yes, to answer your question, it is definitely kind of hard when it comes to the industry. When it comes to that, you have to be consistent. You have to be very consistent, and you have to always follow you, not nobody else but you. And you'll know when you have those ones who are there supporting you and who's going to push you to do better and push you to do greater. But when it comes to the industry, you can always fall off. You can always fall off or go off track or go off road. But you have to have those supporters who are promoting you in order for you to have that publicity. And that comes with yourself too. Like, a lot of people really don't believe in themselves. And you really have to have that you time where it comes down to this industry. Like, you have to know you, because you're gonna be asked questions where you're not going to be able to answer it. And if you don't know you, there's no point of you even being like, hey, I can. It's just like you're stuck. So to answer your question, yeah, it's hard. It is kind of hard. But I think at the same time, it can be a smooth kind of pace. It's all about how you do it. It can be. It can go kind of smooth and all. It's all about how you do it. It's all about how you do it.
And my next question, and that was a wonderful answer, by the way. And my next question would be, if how do you view this area? Okay, let me rearrange my question. Have you traveled and promoted in other areas?
With my movement that I have coming up, no, not yet.
Okay.
That's coming into place 2019.
Okay, sounds good. And my final question before we get back to the panel, so like, based off the R. Kelly discussion earlier,
oh man,
right? Like, how many men do you have on child support?
Oh shit!
My God.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
I don't have no kids. I have one godson. I am single.
Hopefully, it's not $200,000 worth.
I am single, not married. No kids.
That was the ultimate swerve.
I had to go.
Because he want to give you a bag.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay. 151.
Yes.
Your thoughts, bro?
About
The society.
Whatever the show's about. I don't even know.
So
I'm about to quit. Like, I'm about to quit.
We can do some.
I'm gonna take a selfie and quit. Like, I'm like, fuck y'all niggas. Like, I don't know. But 151,
okay.
your questions
So-
for our guest.
for our guest. So, as a woman, how do you feel about like the worst Black History Month ever?
Oh man, I
like
I feel
honestly,
like we're not even.
We need a do-over.
I feel like we're not even in Black History Month right now. Like,
Well, technically, we're not.
Well,
We're in
not
March.
I mean, no, well, you know,
February, yeah, that was kind of a crazy month.
that part.
That-
No comment.
You really can't. It was just
It's
too
really
much.
nothing. It was so much going on. It's just like I don't know.
So you can do is shake your head.
That's the honest, seriously
I
honest.
mean, the crazy thing is because the whole thing with the owner of the Patriots, like very little about him. Even when they did talk about him, the two things that they followed it was the Empire dude and R. Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I turned on my TV this morning, the first thing in the morning was R. Kelly.
Yelling at somebody.
I literally stayed up until like 6 o'clock in the morning and watched that R. Kelly, Surviving R. Kelly. It was, oh man.
I didn't. As I said
I saw
before.
1.5 episodes, and
I literally watched
it's
the
like
thing.
it's something great if you want to go to sleep depressed.
I mean, what do you need to see? We know.
We know he did
I
it.
couldn't go to
on
sleep. I couldn't go to
somebody.
sleep.
He peed on somebody
go to
on
sleep.
tape. What
It's
more do
just
we
that
need to
everybody who
know?
was
Excuse me.
involved.
Excuse me, CP3. That same exact young lady said it wasn't her that was peed on. Okay, so like,
Well, he peed on somebody
CP3. You never peed on somebody?
in the shower. Yes.
What's this?
Why are you not surprised? Street nigga pissed on somebody.
You asked. I'm going to give you an honest answer. Yes, I have.
So you-
in the shower.
Everyone, thank you. It's my last night.
If you didn't know, now you know. Yes, you have been peed on if you showered with me. Yes,
man.
you know.
So basically, you'll be getting a lawsuit about peeing on people. CP3. Now I get it.
It's
Excuse
in
me.
the name.
I gotta say it once a show. Now the comments reflected from CP3 do not reflect the Tru Radio Network or WLVS Radio.
Send them the True Radio email though.
Yeah.
Any complaints to True Radio?
And there will be.
Crazy.
If you've been peed on by this man right here,
I can't believe that.
CP.
Okay.
CP.
Oh, it's in the name. It's in the name. It's in the name.
That's crazy.
So
CP3.
you cannot be surprised. It's already in the name. You know what's coming.
So I
Oh
got
my
a question. So you guys believe that the girl who said it wasn't her?
It was her.
Yeah.
Yes.
She just
Okay.
wanna be known
I
as
mean-
the girl
I'm
that
just
got peed
asking.
on.
I'm
I mean,
just asking.
the same people in the Michael Jackson documentary, Leaving Neverland or Fine, whatever it's called, who are saying that Mike, under oath, said that Mike never touched him twice, are now saying that Mike touched him. And one of the boys' families, Michael Jackson actually paid for their house.
Wow.
And actually, I want to dig a little bit deeper. I was looking at the
No pause or pause? Is that a pause or no pause?
That's a pause.
Okay. I didn't know what tonight was looking like.
Yeah, that's definitely a flaw.
I had to ask, dude.
I forgot where I was.
asked.
Excuse me.
But yeah,
But
please
his,
continue.
Michael Jackson's old publicist was on a news station. I forgot what news station I was watching, but she was saying that one of the alleged victims actually put out to try to be a choreographer for Michael Jackson. Once he got denied, then he filed a $1.3 billion lawsuit against him. And then once that got thrown out, he hushed up until the 10-year anniversary of Michael Jackson coming out to do this. And she also made a point to say that Michael Jackson was a target because of how open-hearted he was, that folks would just have frivolous lawsuits just because they wanted to throw a lawsuit in California. You know, folks can litigate like crazy. They said one guy actually came in and had dates that said Michael Jackson touched his son and did this and this. He wasn't even in the country. He was performing somewhere else, wasn't even here. But he filed a lawsuit, and he had to pay his lawyers to go fight the BS to prove that, you know, he wasn't even in the country to do it. So it's a touchy subject, especially with the man being dead for 10 years. You've already been on the stand and said that he didn't do it, and now you're coming out and saying, oh, because I have a son now, I don't want that to happen to him, so I feel like I have to tell the truth. No, you want your 15 minutes of fame again, and you're talking about they want to talk to the Michael Jackson estate folks because obviously they're looking for some type of payoff or something. So I'm not
That's the
saying they
crazy
did it, they
part,
didn't
like-
do it. It's just fishy circumstances and you make yourself look suspect, especially when you went on the stand under oath and said this man didn't do it, years ago.
Damn.
You see, that's different.
Go ahead. Talk.
That's different when it comes to the R. Kelly situation, though, when it comes down to nobody not saying anything, and they didn't believe him even when he was, convicted of doing certain things. And then now, these people, they were under oath when it came to Michael Jackson. These people who, when it came to R. Kelly, they weren't even in the picture. Yeah. That's just like the Bill Cosby situation too. They weren't even in the picture until all these people came out. But we not gonna.
Somebody get the shovel. Somebody get the shovel. You gotta pull out the dirt.
I'm just saying, like, it's really no point.
We can all agree.
So, Black GOP, are you gonna produce the new series, Surviving? CP3
Surviving the urine stream.
Yes, absolutely. And also, I'm going to also produce a series, Surviving Taylor. That's CP3's dog. If people don't know that, I would say this though, and to our guest, great point. I would say this, and every single one. Stop laughing, okay, CP3. Okay, you're laughing down there, right? Okay. And by the way, I've crashed over there and woke up with that dog's hair all over me. Oh, my God. And I don't know how it happened.
He also woke up curled up in the ball on the floor somehow. I don't know how. I can't thought he was curled up in the ball in the fetal position. I was like, what happened? He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, with my pants off.
Man, I was in my room.
Mind your goddamn business. Yeah.
Oh man.
Y'all don't want that serious. I would say this though. I think that there's one thing in this that is in tune with all of these stories and all of these series. Be it Bill Cosby, be it R. Kelly. Be it who's the last one? Was it Usher? No, I'm just kidding. Who was the last guy that got locked up?
Carol Porter.
Yeah.
It was consensual.
Yeah, in Michael Jackson, there are parents that, and like our lovely guest just mentioned a second ago, there are parents that allow these children to be with these men, like. There's no one on this planet outside of me and the mother of my child that knows where my daughter is. And I said this before, but I'll say it again because it's a great talking point. We might hear, even right here, right at WLVS Radio, or any other radio station we've been at, or even, anywhere, be it with, your crew or what have you, you won't see my daughter there.
Exactly.
And there are these adults, and be it, from the Bill Cosby situation to all these other situations, and they've brought their kids around and literally left these kids around alone with these men.
Exactly.
And you can't do that. They're just as guilty. And again, folks, I'm not defending R. Kelly. He's guilty. I'm not defending Bill Cosby. He's guilty. But you have to protect your children. And if you're like, oh my God, well, we know this superstar and we're just going to leave our child with this person and then get mad when things go wrong, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah. It's not even just them, the parents. It's the other people who are surrounded around it and are involved and see this happening. Like the people who spoke out and were there and saw all of these things happening, and now they're speaking out about it in the interview.
Because they're not getting paid.
That's even way more worse because you see a minor or you see this child and you feel some type of way and you want to pull them aside and talk to them, but you don't want to get involved. It just makes you more involved, actually, and it just.
It's all about what they can get out of it.
Special shout out to Public Announcement.
Yeah, once again.
Because in 2019, this will be the last time we talk about them.
And and I've said it before, and I want the bus driver on trial.
Oh man!
Because I want the bus driver, the guy who said, "Hey, honey, you're getting on the bus."
With all these grown ass
men. And you're 14 years old and you're getting on the bus and going on tour, right?
Oh, they getting a tour.
Yeah.
Just like I commend Sparkle, if you guys seen it. I commend her. I do.
You just threw a grenade.
I
You
do.
just
Why?
lobbed
Why?
you just lobbed the
Why?
grenade over to the side nigga table.
Why? Can y'all tell me why? Can y'all tell me why?
SideNiggaTable.com right
Why?
Let's
Why?
get
Okay.
ready to rumble.
Go ahead and break it down,
Okay.
GOP. How you feel
So-
about Sparkle?
here. So tell me why you commend Sparkle.
Because I felt like she was actually wanted not just to be a family member, but somebody who was there and to know that this was somebody who she knew, and she stepped up and she spoke about it, and her family was hush hush about it because of the money. Like,
But at a time, she was hush hush too, because she has gone back and said that R. Kelly made comments to her mother like, "I want to fuck the shit out your daughter. Why would you bring your niece around him like that?"
See, I didn't-
Like, if he walked over to my girl and was like, "Yo, I want to fuck the shit out your wife," there's no way I would bring my daughter around, or nevertheless my wife, my niece, or my sister.
I would say this.
I didn't know about that, but
I would
okay.
say, I would say,
That's why I say you throw a grenade over there.
I would say this, and I'm not here to beat our lovely guest down, but I would say this: if and I said this before, but it's like, there are certain environments that you don't,
And that's true.
bring younger women into. Like, for example, R. Kelly's studio, where Sparkle was recording, had a bed right beside it. Like, if right here at WLVS Radio, like if there was like just a random ass bedroom, like I
That's
wouldn't
true.
bring, I wouldn't
Wow,
bring.
chicken, wow, wow.
I mean, and she
you know.
did say something about that, about her bringing her niece around. That is true, but okay, I'm not.
I mean,
No,
they,
no,
The whole bed thing.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
She
I'm not.
knew-
I don't. It's not like a beat down fest.
Right,
I want you to feel that
right.
way.
Of
You know
course.
what I'm saying? But I would say this though. I think that there is so many people. For me, right? Sparkle is just as guilty as anybody else. The bus driver, the managers, all these other people. The people is like, oh my god, I didn't know. The parents are like, oh my god, my daughter is captured in her house. Whatever. Like, I think Sparkle's just as guilty. But the Lifetime moment popped up, and and there's a whole different scenario. But I feel like she bought into the original scenario. And that shoots me back to Oprah. But real quick, we're gonna have to get out here soon. I love the guests. Where can they find you?
On Instagram at love with 2 E's being Diambi. That's short for ambitious. So it's LOVEEAM. No, sorry. Being. So it's LOVEEBEING Diambi. AMBI, short for ambitious, guys. And on Facebook at Erica Taylor. So that's where you can find me. And you'll see a movement soon, guys. A movement soon coming up on YouTube and everything like that. I'll be having pop-up classes very, 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 very soon. I'll be traveling and stuff like that. So stay tuned.
Sounds amazing. CP3, where can they find you?
As always, you can find me Monday night 7 to 9 on Sports OTHP on Tru Radio Network. Every other Thursday at 9 to 10:30 on Sports OTHP, boxing, MMA, football, soccer, whatever we're going to cover that night. You see me on Facebook Live. Just hashtag CP3, hashtag Sports OTHP. It's going to come up. It's too much to go into. That's all I got to say.
My homeboy, 151. Where can they find you?
probably at the bar. No.
Yes, at the bar.
Literally, you can find me. Let's see. Facebook is actually you can't find me on there because I got like 5,000 people
Yeah,
I don't talk to.
that's true.
Oh, great.
There's another Facebook page. It's 151 at the bar radio. You can find me on there. Then you can find me on Instagram, Rakeem151, or you can find me on IG at the bar radio. And then this Sunday you can find me on Rise Radio where I'll be doing my show with some random ass guest.
Jesus
random ass
Christ.
dude.
Folks, catch me and catch all of us at www. Is that old? But True Radio Network.
Google me's old.
Yeah, TrueNetwork.com. A whole bunch of shit will pop up. BlackGOP.com. Folks, you guys have a great night. It was good to have you all, and we'll see you soon.
Peace
Yeah.
out.